This is not looking good for Bethesda. It honestly feels like they're just trying to off themselves at this point. It's really bad.
Earlier today was the Developer Direct 2024, the second year of this event where we get to hear from developers directly and
That's my boy Todd Howard right there in the middle. Fun fact, he has not said a single truth in the last 50 years. A true legend.
get a more focused look at a select few games. Indiana Jones is probably the most anticipated game to be at this year's Direct, and honestly, this is a curious one for me. The actual vision for the Indiana Jones game seems to come from Todd Howard from Bethesda Game Studios, but it's not.
Yes. The new indie game is going to be held by Todd Howard and Bethesda. It's going to be a literal Redfall 2.0 situation. There were a bunch of people screeching, no, Bethesda didn't make Redfall. Todd Howard and Bethesda literally have gone on camera multiple times saying that they are responsible for every decision made in Redfall. And the same thing is going to happen in the Indiana Jones game. And I already covered the trailer, the 3-minute long trailer, and I'm not going to lie. It looks atrocious. It looks absolutely awful. I am 99% almost sure that this will be a greater disaster than Starfield. The graphics look janky, the animations are clunky, and, worst of all, I found this. Let me share you something that I found today. Voila. Look at this. Look at this absolute beauty right here. Oh yeah, that is the senior narrative designer for Indiana Jones. Oh yeah. You can already tell it's a they-them, probably at least 15 mental illnesses in their Twitter bio. And with the best quote possibly ever made, we have the opportunity to tell Indiana Jones to modern audiences. If that does not strike a fear into your heart, I don't honestly think anything will. Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Todd Howard's team who's making this, and instead it's being done by Machine Games, the minds behind Wolfenstein. So Todd Howard thought of the idea.
Yeah, and Wolfenstein wasn't a disaster, right? No, it was an absolute disaster.
And designed it somewhat, but then pitched it to Machine Games to be made. And Todd Howard even described how he actually thought they.
Yeah, I talked about this. Dude, there is not a single point in the gameplay trailer where the hands don't look like something out of a horror movie. It just looks so wrong and bad.
Were a better fit for this than Bethesda Game Studios, his own team. But that said, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is releasing later in 2024. This is a game where you will be Indiana Jones, going on adventures, solving puzzles, and of course, killing Nazis.
Well, actually, as you can probably already predict, more than half of the game you're going to be most likely be forced to play with a strong independent whammy that needs no man. Because keep in mind, this is not just something that Bethesda got. This is also backed by Hollywood, baby. Oh yeah. And if you haven't seen Indiana Jones, good for you. Honestly, the new movies are absolutely atrocious garbage. Okay? And yeah, that's going to be put into this game also. It will be a substantial failure. It's going to be worse than Starfield, my prediction.
Otherwise, this one's going to be in between Raiders and The Last Crusade. It's a familiar Indiana Jones story where somebody steals an artifact from Indy's college and he chases them down to the Vatican where, of course, it unravels into a larger mystery. From one of these telegrams, it almost seems like the Vatican isn't too friendly. If Indiana Jones sounded familiar in this trailer, assuming you watched it, he's actually voiced.
Yeah, this is the first scene. It actually kind of looks good at the start because this is from the movies, right? The movies are good. And they failed to recreate the scene. You know why? Because he doesn't show it here, but Indy headbutts him. Now, in the movie, he was pretty close. You could tell that the headbutt possibility is there and it's optional, right? But here, if you watch this trailer, you can see that their heads are literally almost miles apart. There is no way he can do anything like that. But Bethesda didn't care. They just fumbled the easiest scene of their life, like there was no tomorrow. It's great. And this is going to probably be the whole experience.
Sounded familiar in this trailer, assuming you watched it. He's actually voiced by Troy Baker, that being the voice of Joel in The Last of Us. But Indiana Jones won't be alone, as he's going to have a familiar sidekick with Gina. They're described as having a personal investment in seeing this all through.
Look at that. Short hair, not womanly at all, absolutely no appeal whatsoever. Bro, we're ready for a zinger right here. Oh man, is this gonna be good.
Gina, they're described as having a personal investment in seeing this all through. So the game is basically going to be following the plot of all of the movies, and they're actually doing quite a bit of effort.
Except they won't, because we already, again, I will point back to this beautiful scene right here. We have the opportunity to tell Indiana Jones to modern audiences. This is not gonna follow the movies, okay? This is not gonna be even close, my dear sweet summer child. It is not gonna be even close. Oh yeah. I mean, it is what it is, boys. It is what it is.
To make this similar to a movie. It's getting a grand score as well as a ton of mocap work, but when you look at the game overall, it's almost exactly what I think a lot of people are hoping it would be, or at least if you're an actual fan of Indiana Jones.
So, what is this? I haven't seen this. So, let's look at this.
Overall, it's almost exactly what I
So they're fighting over
think
something?
a lot of people are hoping it would be.
Yeah, they are. So that's a man.
Or at least if
That's the strong, independent man that clearly is physically way more capable than any man. Dude, bruh. Hey, when I watched the original trailer, at least it didn't seem woke. Now it seems right on you, baby.
if you're an actual fan of Indiana Jones, as Indiana Jones and the Great Circle appears to be formatted quite similarly to other action-adventure
Yeah, look at his hands. This is like Oblivion tier graphics right there. It's disgusting.
RPGs.
And it's just bad.
As you play, you'll have your fair share of scripted story moments with some unique scenes, but it looks like the bulk of the game will be questing around and going to different locales where you'll have some choices. In a lot of action-adventure games, you're going to have this flat choice of either being stealthy or going in guns blazing, but it seems like the big twist...
Yeah, the whip animations are just horrible. Again, I paid extra attention to this trailer, but the reality is when you're gonna play it, everyone's gonna start noticing it. Because you can only notice so many times where you whip the shins of the baddie, and then they suddenly drop their weapon because their hand got hit. It's gonna be horrible.
With Indiana Jones is, you could either be stealthy, you could go in fighting, or you can do
As you can see, the combat's pretty atrocious.
a puzzle instead, at least to some degree. It looks like there still will be a healthy amount of stealthy gameplay that describe tracking down enemy patrols, and there being several ways to clear through some of the various areas you'll go to. In the direct, there were several scenes where Indy would use something from his environment to aid him or take down an enemy. But if you do choose to deal with the enemies, you have all of the staples, guns, fists, and even Indy's iconic whip, which to me just looked epic here. They did motion capture work with the whip.
Oh, Juicehead. Keep on shilling, my dude. You're good at it.
Which is likely why it looks so good in the gameplay, but this also means that somebody was paid to be whipped by Indiana Jones. Hey, I'm not saying I need a job, but if that opportunity pops up, I'm definitely interested. But they really did.
Also, you can tell that the NPCs are gonna be literally brain damaged. Look at this. Look at this.
Somebody was paid to be whipped by
Look.
Indiana Jones.
Whoa, what was that? Oh my god, what the wall? It's... Do I need to say more?
Hey, I'm not saying I need a job, but if that opportunity pops up, I'm definitely interested. But they really did do a great job at making the whip look like a genuine tool. You can use this for both utility and combat, which is quite essential for an Indiana Jones game, and it really seems like they nailed it, at least based off our limited view. Puzzles are, of course, also going to be
He blogs bullets with the whip, by the way.
a core part of this game, and I absolutely love how they described this, and it really is based off the description because we didn't see all that much puzzle gameplay. They're going to be puzzles that you have to do, but most of the puzzles in the game are going to be optional, and even some of the puzzles are secret. So I imagine the puzzles will be the path of least resistance, but you need to use your head. Alternatively, you could just use your weapons, but this is such a unique and interesting genre mashup that it actually gets me pretty excited. You approach an enemy encampment and you could either go left and complete a puzzle where you'll have to think about some combination or solve some riddle, or just go straight and do
Was that supposed to be wine or blood, by the way? Who can tell?
think about some
It's too dark to be wine. It's seemingly too viscous to be wine.
combination or solve
So what exactly is happening here? Did they just have bottles of blood?
some riddle, or just go straight and do the typical guns blazing with a stealth alternative. And it doesn't look like these puzzles are going to be the typical action-adventure basic puzzles like you have almost in Skyrim. These look like they're fairly in-depth and like they will create some incredibly unique gameplay moments with how you solve them, or even what happens if you fail to solve them perfectly. As of right now, the larger
That would be cool, honestly. That's actually a good thing. Wow, I did not know that detail. But I kind of doubt that that's going to save the game.
controversy coming out of this reveal is perspective. This is going to be a first-person game that will take you to a third-person perspective when
Yeah, it feels a little bit sad.
doing things like interacting with your environment, or of course during some cutscenes. And quite a few fans are mixed on this one, feeling like they would rather see the iconic character of Indiana Jones doing all of these things rather than just seeing his hands. But for me,
His decrepit, badly made hands that look like a midget's. Again, is it only me who looks at his hands in a lot of these cutscenes
controversy coming out of this reveal
and thinks that this just doesn't look normal? This is oblivion to your graphics.
rather see the iconic character of Indiana Jones doing all of these things rather than just seeing his hands. But for me, I love that it's first person. We can see it a few times in the gameplay, but I think the first person perspective will be a very powerful
Yeah, look at this. Tell me this looks fine to you. Dude, it looks like his hand is a twig. It just looks to me like his hand is a twig. Is that also an opportunity to tell Indiana Jones to modern audiences? Don't worry about your hand being a deformed thingamajig that looks like a twig. Don't worry about it. Modern day gaming.
storytelling device in this game. Like even just the simple reaction to the spider. It's minor, but it's really effective at conveying something quickly. I imagine the puzzles are
No, that's just how Indiana Jones would react to a spider.
going to be miles easier in first person.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. This is also... Look, there was a better example of this, but look.
Puzzles are going to be
Look how cheap this shit is.
miles easier.
Boop, teleports in. I talked about this previously, but this game is so bad. It couldn't even do the illusion animations. You know, when someone just swipes their hand like this, they don't actually pick it up, but it creates the illusion that it's maybe picked up and then it just appears in the hand. And you can barely notice it because it's fast. In this game, in the trailer, you can see him pick up a hammer. You know how that looks? Whoop! And the hammer just appears like that. Can they even do anything right? Can they even do anything right? And by the way, just looking at this, I can already tell what the puzzle is. This is a representation of what is seen in some kind of direction in the room, and will be able to see 4 pillars, one of these things there, and that's it. Dude, this is not a puzzle. This is literally easier than me at 5 years old playing Little Fish Freddy. Okay? Little Fish Freddy was harder to solve than these puzzles. And that's for children.
In first person as well, which is likely a big driving factor for that being the main option. And after seeing how well
I'm surprised the gear doesn't magically just teleport on, though, by the way. Honestly, I am.
driving factor for that being the main option. And after seeing how
And by the way, look at this. Pay a little bit of attention here. Look.
being the main option,
Okay, so you can see how this looks, right?
and
Yeah?
after seeing
And then you teleport back and it looks differently. It's not the same contraption. Is this a different cut? Because this is not the same contraption. Look at this.
driving factor for that being the main option.
You put it on, there's nothing there. Look.
Driving factor for that being the main option.
This doesn't connect to anything.
And after seeing how
And where is this supposed to be? Here? So they skipped the part where you put something here, but it doesn't look like there's anything there. What's the point of putting the cog there if the cog doesn't attach to anything?
Cyberpunk was able to deal with first person.
Oh, there is a cog there, but you couldn't see it there, so either they did bad skips, or when you put in the cog, the animation is actually going to be something else.
especially with storytelling. I'm really curious to see what they do here. Overall, they describe this game as
look, this is the hammer pickup animation.
they do here.
Look.
Overall, they describe this game as
It's so bad. No, seriously, the fact that they couldn't even do this animation properly. Oh, it's just crazy. Well, honestly, this is the first time they have animations for picking up because Skyrim didn't have them in anything, so, you know, it is what it is. Baby's first pickup animation. Nice, Bethesda.
as the most authentic Indiana Jones experience ever, and a game that's going to make you think before you fight. Clever ways to solve problems are the intention here.
Probably not.
Here, almost like a strategy action hybrid, which is the exact
Also,
like a strategy.
the whip doesn't actually tie itself. Even in the movies that I saw 20 years ago at this point, I remember them displaying that whenever Indy actually did a whip swing, he actually had the whip tie itself, so it pushes down on it when he applies when he applies his mass to it, so it doesn't slip off. Here, do you see what's happening here? The whip goes around this, then like this, and then just coils like this. Bro, it's just gonna fall off the moment you try to jump. This is not how physics work. And this is what happens when them starts making games. They literally have no idea of even basic physics. And they ruin everything. Because, again, you're subconsciously going to notice all of these things. There's going to be subconsciously a billion things happening wrong. And you're going to hate the game because of it. You see the whip not actually tying itself around it, so it's gonna slip off and he will just fall to his death instantaneously. You're gonna notice the cogs aren't connected to anything and then they suddenly start spinning for no reason. You're gonna notice all of these things.
Strategy action hybrid, which is the exact genre I think I'm going to end up loving. For me, the big reservation, of course, isn't perspective, but instead it's actually...
And honestly, it's already been... Dude... We can make a separate Awaken video from this baby.
the puzzles. Despite the plethora of gameplay shown, we don't really see all that
a double juice head take video. Now that's gonna be epic.
much of actually completing some of the puzzles themselves. Now perhaps they're just keeping these a mystery, but with how much of a selling point it almost seemed like it would be, I'm surprised we didn't get a bit more. But honestly, I think this is going to be one of those odd standout games where it just has so much going for it on the nostalgia side and with its unique genre mashup that it doesn't even really need to be all that.
Also, the faces look terrible. Dude, at some points, I think this is one of those points, right? Yeah.
Genre mashup that it
doesn't even look like his face at some points. When the contrast is good and the lighting is good, it does look like Indy. True. But at other points, it just doesn't. It really just doesn't.
Doesn't even really need to be all that good. In many ways, it feels like it's going to be somewhat similar to Hogwarts.
What do you mean if I can't keep up? Oh boy! Can't wait to get introduced to my unlikable zero charisma female protagonist that's better than everything and probably beats up men's in the thousands. Yay! Yay. Yay.
Legacy in that regard. Bethesda showed Indiana Jones at the end of the Developer Direct to increase viewer engagement, but the first game shown at the Developer Direct was also pretty cool, with Avowed. This of
yes. Yeah, this is gonna be a double take video on Juicy Boy. Oh, it's gonna be good, boys! No, seriously, the Indiana Jones thing is just absolutely horrendous. It's gonna be a massive failure. Sad. It's gonna be a massive failure. It's like Starfield. It's gonna be probably worse than Starfield. It is what it is. I mean, a lot of people are coping really hard. No, it looks amazing. Stop. I know you're excited, but you're just gonna give money to a company that produces shit, and then you're gonna play it for like 5 minutes, and you're gonna be like, ha 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 ha, this is kind of bad, ha ha. It's going to be already on Game Pass, so, you know, a couple of people that think that, you know, not buying 2 games in a year but spending like 300 euros on a Game Pass is economically viable. So I don't exactly expect a lot from you people to understand how fucking shit works, honestly. Again, spends 300 bucks on the Game Pass, plays 1 or 2 games a year for free, says it's value. Like, kill me now. Just end my suffering. Anyway, this was Quizzer Sid Zen, and that was our boy Juicy Head. What a time to be a time. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.